Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. I hope everyone is doing well and having a great summer. Please stick around to the end if you're interested in some information about giveaways and other things like that. Today we are going to be discussing the disappearance of a photographer named Chet Hanson. Before we get into that, I wanted to start off with something that is going on in Yellowstone National Park. This is the second year that this is going on. Now, this is a collaboration between the Pretty Shield Foundation and the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Council. It will be available between August 1st and 7th. It's called The Lighting of the Teepees. It is going to be at the Roosevelt Arch, which is in Gardiner, Montana. It is all about the historic and continued presence of American Indian tribes in the Yellowstone region. The lighting of the teepees is free and it'll be at sunset. It is 7 various teepees lit up in these beautiful colors. Here is a map of the area of where it is. This area is very historic, so if any of you are planning on going to this park during this time, I highly recommend checking it out. I think it would be a beautiful thing to see. If any of you do go out and see it, please let me know in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, let's get into today's case. Today we are going to be talking about a hiker, photographer that just vanished into thin air. Now, some of you may be familiar with this case. It did happen quite a while ago. We are going to be in the Mt Rainier portion of Washington. Here is a map. I'll have maps up throughout as always. Chet Hanson was 27 years old at the time of Wilkinson. He was last seen on Wednesday. He left for a solo day hike. This was back in November of 1997. This is a picture of Chet. Unfortunately, there are not very many pictures of him. This picture is an area of the area where he went missing. I'll have various pictures throughout just to give you an idea of the terrain. Chet disappeared on November 11th, 1997 in the Deer Creek area of Mt Rainier National Park in the state of Washington. Chet was known for his beautiful photography of the outdoors. He was a very keen outdoorsman himself. On November 11th, 1997, he left his home around 6:30 a.m. with a myriad of various photography equipment on his trip to Mt Rainier National Park in Washington. According to his mother, everything was normal. He said goodbye. He told her that he would be back sometime that day, probably in time for dinner. He took almost 40 pounds of camera equipment with him for this expedition. Unfortunately, the information that we got from his family, he was only dressed in shorts, a fleece, some hiking boots, and various other things that were helping him to carry the camera equipment which he set out with that day. Now, Chet was a very experienced hiker. According to friends and family, he knew the Mt Rainier area very well. However, he was prone to walking off of the trails. He liked to explore various areas to get great pictures, which for a photographer makes sense. But lately he had been focusing on photographing waterfalls and lakes which were abundant in the area. This is a picture of the Deer Creek Falls, one of the falls that he liked to photograph and potentially was photographing that particular day. Unfortunately, when Chet left that day, he left no planned itinerary. When he did not return for dinner as planned, and he did not show up for work at his job with Alaskan Airlines, his friends and family were the first to initiate the search. They were able to find his vehicle, which was located at the Deer Creek Falls trailhead within the park. At this point, they were able to get the authorities involved and various search and rescue efforts were immediately started. His vehicle was opened. They found various negatives, a key ring, various things like a glasses case, some miscellaneous other papers. One of the negatives that they found was from Highway 410, and another photograph was from Tipso Lake. So this gave them an idea of where he may have been and an idea of where to start searching. So they brought in various search dogs. The search and rescue was headed up by Pierce County investigators as well as search and rescue teams from the park. Unfortunately, the search area was very dense, very rugged, and was from altitudes between 3,200 feet all the way up to 8,000 feet in elevation. The nighttime temperatures at this time were in the low 20s. John Cranebrink, the park's chief ranger and public information officer at the time, said that they launched a couple of different helicopters and they had roughly 30 people on the ground search during the initial phases of this search and rescue efforts. However, due to the frigid cold temperatures at night and some of the rescuers themselves becoming injured, they didn't believe that Mr. Hansen was still in the area or possibly even still alive. They thought that he was somewhere around Cayuse Pass. They started focusing their searches in and around that area. During all these searches, not only did they not find him, they didn't find any of his camera gear. He had brought, like I said in the beginning, almost 40 pounds of different camera gear, which some they found in the car, but he was carrying a lot of that with him, which they found no trace of. Please keep in mind that this was a time that cell phones were in their infancy. There weren't drones that they had available to them. At this time, the search had grown to include 6 different dog teams and almost 100 ground searchers. Unfortunately, after weeks of searching, they had to start scaling down the search. Around this time, though, another hiker, a man by the name of Willard, and his girlfriend reported to the search teams that they had thought they saw someone who matched Chet's description at Shriner Peak on November 11th around noon. So this renewed more search efforts, and they started searching in and around Shriner Peak. One of the spokesmen for the search and rescue team said, quote, "They've used up all their options where to look, but there's a lot of rugged terrain and a lot of brush. Somebody could be nearby and you could still miss them." Unfortunately, with all these renewed search efforts, more dog teams, more helicopters, they were still unable to find any clues, any sight of Mr. Hansen or any of his gear. And unfortunately, in these cases, as they often have to, the search was called off, scaled back, without finding any hope or any clues for the family. And you can imagine how devastating this is for a young man like this to go out on a simple day hike to take some pictures, then all of a sudden just vanishes into thin air. Nothing was ever found, and nothing still has never been found to this day. It just makes absolutely no sense. The search teams and investigators are always devastated when they have to call off a search like this because they get so invested. They want to bring the family back their loved one. They want to bring that closure. In cases like this, when nothing adds up and they can't find anything, it's just devastating to everybody involved. Some of you have often commented why I make videos of cases that were from so long ago. But you have to remember that this is never ending for the families and loved ones of the missing. That holds true as well with all the search and rescue people and all the volunteers that work so hard to try and bring these loved ones back to their families. It makes a difference, and it's very important that you understand that. Now, with modern technology and other resources, we've seen many people found after over a decade or more of being lost. Yes, often it's not in the way that we would want that, but at least in some way it brings the family some closure and the beginning of healing. I want to dedicate this video to Chet Hansen, his family, his friends, all his loved ones, all the search and rescue members who worked so hard to try and find him, all the volunteers. I just hope and pray that one day soon you will get some answers and you will have some peace. I want to thank you all for watching. As always, I really appreciate all your support, your kind words, your feedback. Please leave me comments in the description. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Hopefully I will see you all in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me till the end. Once again, I appreciate you sticking with me and understanding the upload schedule. I'm trying to get more videos in the works. I appreciate you all being patient. For all the new subscribers, welcome. For all of you that have been with me forever, thank you so much for all your wonderful and continued support. If you'd like to donate to the channel, I'll have my information in the description. But as always, just a comment or just your kind words or feedback, even if it's constructive or critical feedback, I always welcome that. I will be doing a new giveaway. It's a new coin that the US Mint hasn't even released yet. It's going to be released in the coming weeks. So if you'd like to be entered into that, once it is released, I will get one and select a winner. All you need to do to enter into the giveaway is to leave a comment letting me know that you want to be entered into the new coin giveaway, or leave a comment about a case suggestion. Anything you want, just let me know that you want to be entered. Unfortunately, in the last giveaway, the winner did not get back to me, so I will be drawing a new winner, which I really do hate to do just because I know people get busy, and the last thing I want to happen is to pick a winner and then after I pick a new winner, that person gets back to me and then it's just a mess. So if you do win and you don't want it, just let me know. Just say like, hey, just pick a new person, that's fine, and I'll do that. In any event, I hope everyone is having a great summer. I thank you again for all your support, all your continued feedback. I'd love to hear about your outdoor adventures this summer. If you have any pictures that you'd like to submit for the calendar for next year, I'll have my email address, of course, in the description. I just wanted to say thank you again for being the best audience and for all your support, and you guys are just the best. All right, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care.